going through a little bit of a on-road review with the Alpinestars Supertech R10 helmet. I've had this helmet for at least half a year at this point. I can't remember exactly when I got it. It was shortly after the sort of main line of helmets came out. Originally they only had the sort of launch line that had that carbon fiber with the red, which does look really nice. One of my buddies has it, and in person it just looks so great. But I just got one of the sort of standard colorways, and in that time I've taken it on track, I've worn it on the street quite a bit, and I just wanted to give you a bit of an understanding on sort of what the purpose of this helmet is, why I got it, why someone would want to get it, and just give you my honest review on how it's performed so far, just based on my experiences alone. First up, why did I choose to get the helmet for myself? Obviously, I'm not sponsored in this. I paid with my own money to get this thing, and there are a couple of things that went into why I decided to get this helmet. One is, and sort of the main driving factor is, I really needed something that was going to give me a little bit more shoulder clearance, especially when I'm doing track riding on sort of my standard track bike, which I typically have a Ninja 400, or sometimes I ride on, some friend's MT-07 or something along those lines. And they're not very ergonomically aggressive, so I don't really need a lot of shoulder clearance or anything like that with those helmets. I'm fine just sort of using my standard helmet as in a Ride Corsair, but I got a really short neck. I'm built like a tank, absolutely stocky, just a complete unit. Really, I just have a short neck, but the Ride Corsair on something a little bit more serious, so like a Gixxer 750 or a Triumph Daytona, that helmet really started to rub on my shoulders when I was in the riding position. So bad, so much that on the Gixxer 750, I ended up coming in like 2 or 3 laps, just because I was basically a coffin at that point. I was sort of stuck with my shoulders. I could only really look like this. I couldn't look around, I couldn't position, and it really ended up being something that was so uncomfortable that it almost became unsafe. So I really wanted to get something that was a little bit more forgiving with the spacing, that was a little bit more ergonomic for me. And the Alpinestars R10 had just released the main line, again, not that launch line. And so my buddy could get it for cheap. They had some in stock, and I decided it's a cool helmet, it's a cool brand, it's got the fit that I'm looking for. I did test it on at the dealership before I ended up buying it, and I absolutely love this thing. It is great for both on street and on track, and I'll dive a little bit into that a little bit later on, but just, high level overview, it's a really good helmet and something that I don't think anyone's really going to be disappointed with, especially with the other helmets in its range. Now, onto my next point. If you're going to get this helmet, and I'll go over the pricing towards the end of the video, but if you're going to get this helmet, a lot of it comes down to what do you get in the box, and that really impacts the value of this helmet. So the helmet that I'm wearing right now, it has the long visor on it. I don't know if you're going to be able to really see it in the video. I'll have pictures posted of the helmet that I took sort of in here, just to give you a little bit of a better visual understanding. But it comes with 2 different spoilers. You do get a short spoiler and a long spoiler that comes in the box, and you can choose which you want to mount on there. I, of course, went with the long one because, again, this is primarily something that I bought for the track, so I want to have that extra stability when I'm going at speed. But the short spoiler works, plenty well, and is a nice sort of moderate middle ground if you're not trying to be extra aggressive. But again, since I'm mainly using this for the track, I wear it on the street all the time, but I mainly got it specifically for the track. I wanted something that had that stability. Now, in addition to that, it does come with 2 different visors in the box. You do get a clear and a dark smoke. I'm wearing the dark smoke now. One thing to note about the dark smoke is that it's really not that dark. Like, I'm not going to be blinded by the sun unless I'm staring directly at it. But, you know, it's something that if I get caught, you know, out past sunset, I'm still able to wear it just fine. And not really have to worry too much about my night vision being impacted, and I have historically some pretty bad night vision. Now, I'm sure the clear visor is completely fine. I've actually never put it on this helmet, just because I've never had a need for it. Because I'm always riding either on the track during the day, or this is actually just sort of my dedicated tinted helmet. Since I have 2 very nice helmets, I decided to just sort of use this one as my tinted one during the day, and then I use my Arai Corsair when it's a little bit darker out, or if I know I'm going to be out in the dark, I'll put that helmet on. But with this one, it does also come with a chin spoiler and a chin curtain. So the spoiler is more of a like a rubber piece that goes on the bottom of the chin. I'll show you a picture of what that looks like. And the chin curtain is sort of like a fabric or a mesh that I currently have on now because I'm trying to reduce the wind noise for you all. Even though it's Florida and it is very hot out right now and my face is very wet and moist from having everything trapped in, I've not actually used the chin curtain before. This is the very first time I've had it, and I still do get a decent amount of air in my helmet. The chin spoiler works actually pretty well to deflect a lot of that wind away, but if I'm turning, it does catch quite a bit. But overall, it's your choice on what you want to use. They're very easy to swap in and out. They're just sort of laid in a rubber track inside the helmet, and you just peel one out and put the other in. But it does come with both. It's up to you on what you wanted to use. For the visors, it does also come with tear-offs. You can have tear-offs right out of the box that you can wear for the track or you can wear for the street. Obviously, if you're going on track, tear-offs are a really great thing to have. It just protects your visor that extra bit, especially when there's rubber or gravel or anything like that kicking up. The street, it's the same use case, but I just don't feel like having it on the street because sometimes it can sort of mess with my vision. But it does come with that out of the box, which is a really cool idea, a really cool thing to include. When most other helmets, you're sort of stuck with just that street use. Beyond that, you do also get pin locks included with the visors. The helmet itself is pin lock capable, so you can slap one of those in there. I've never really had great success with pin locks. I just use sort of an anti-fog lens wipe on all the insides of my visors, and it works completely fine for me. But you do have that pin lock option if you wanted to have that for your helmet. Let's see, am I forgetting anything? Oh, it does also come with a helmet bag, like a dedicated bag, not one of those sort of drawstrings that you get with some other helmets. It comes with a fully dedicated bag. It's actually a really nice bag. It's got some compartments in it. It's got a dual zipper on it to make it easy to open and close it. Something that's really nice and high quality. And again, a lot of these are going to go into justifying the value for this helmet, which again, I'll go into the price a little bit later on, but with all of the add-ons, it really is a pretty great deal considering that a lot of other helmets don't come with a lot of these. Like the Arai Corsair that I have just comes with one of those drawstring bags, which is cool in its own right, but at the end of the day, it is just a drawstring bag. But the Alpinestars R10 does come with a dedicated, actual, fully fleshed out bag with zippers, pockets, and neat little places to put everything. It also even comes with a bag for the visors themselves, so you can actually store those in. It's basically like a form-fitted drawstring bag. That's really nice to keep those safe. So you do get quite a lot, and they did put quite a lot of effort into making sure that you got your best value with this helmet. But moving on, I know one of the main things that a lot of people are worried about with helmets is what the comfort level is like. So with this helmet, I'm a size large. I have what I'd consider a more intermediate oval head shape. So Arai Corsairs, or Arai in general, fits me really well. The Alpinestars fits me really well. Shoeies don't fit me that well, and HJCs, at least the Arfas, did not fit me that well. Just to give you an idea of what my head shape is like compared to some other helmets that you may know of. But this, as with really any good helmet, especially one that you want to use at a more higher level to do more aggressive riding, you want something that is going to be a little bit hard to get on. It is a little hard to squeeze the helmet on my head, but once it is on, it's completely comfortable. The cheek pads fit really well, and you can, of course, get different cheek pads. You can also adjust the fit of the helmet just by using the padding towards the top of your head. You can actually adjust it in a different position. So if you wanted to have, let's say, the chin more down or the chin higher, you know, depending on if you're going to be doing street riding where you want to have that chin down to be able to look at your dash and see what's going on below you, or if you wanted to have something that was a little bit more aggressive for the track, you know, have that chin up so you can, you know, look up through your visor, look up over into the horizon while your head is down and tucked. You can adjust that. The only gripe that I really have is this helmet is not very glasses friendly. I wear glasses. I don't really like contacts, and I don't have, you know, fancy flying eyes glasses or anything like that. I just have some metal frame glasses, and it's a bit hard to squeeze them in here, and you sort of have to faff around with it a bit. But once you do get them in, they do stick where they're at. Whereas something like the Right Corsair, you know, the helmet just slide right in and they stay where they're supposed to be. So it does fit really well, and a lot of that has to do with the padding for the helmet. They do put quite a lot of padding around your ears, which helps a lot with wind noise, which is probably one of the best things about this helmet. But downside is, of course, if you wear glasses, it doesn't really work that well for you. Which, to segue into the wind noise, this helmet actually handles it really well. There are, of course, a lot of vents. I think Alpinestars says there's 11 points of ventilation, but the most that anyone really needs to know is you, of course, get wind on your mouth, your nose. You get plenty of ventilation there. There's a lot of ventilation that goes up over your head and especially vents out through the back of the helmet, which is really important. So it does keep you pretty cool. The padding, again, sort of blocks off your ears, so you don't get a lot of that wind noise directly into your ear. But being able to vent it out through the back of the helmet is a really big sticking point, especially for nicer helmets. If you're on a more base level helmet, a lot of those don't have ventilation out of the rear of the helmet, so you end up sort of having like an air dam effect where it's basically just a giant parachute on top of your head, and it sort of bobs you around a lot, and it's not very comfortable. But the Alpinestars, again, doesn't really have that issue. It vents everything out really well. It also handles aerodynamically well. So I'm riding a naked bike. Basically, almost all of my bikes are naked, whether it's the Z900 that I'm on now, or I do also have a Triumph bobber that I ride around a lot on, and it has basically just an aesthetic windscreen that doesn't actually block any wind, so I'm always constantly dealing with wind on my head. And with that, you know, on the highway, 80 miles an hour, if there's not a crosswind or anything like that, then the helmet is completely fine. I don't really buff it around a lot. The Corsair that I have has a spoiler on it, but it's nowhere near as long as the Alpinestars helmet, so I do buff it a bit, but having a helmet with and without a spoiler is a noticeable difference, and the Alpinestars is no exception. I've got a really stable head at, right now I'm going about 50 miles an hour, and I don't have any kind of buffeting. I'm not, you know, rocking back and forth. I can still look to the side pretty easily. There is going to be a little bit of a noticeable catch that I get when looking to the side, just because mainly it's the chin that catches, but it's nothing that you wouldn't be able to get used to or find a workaround by any means. So overall, wind, aerodynamics, and noise, I'd say is probably, especially the wind noise, the standout feature for this helmet. And this helmet's also pretty light. I think it's 3.3 pounds, which don't ask me how many kilos that is, but 3.3 pounds is fairly light. I know that's under 2 kilos. And that's with everything on the helmet. I'm actually getting quite a bit more weight on this helmet just from the mic that I have in the chin, so that I can speak to you all. But overall, it's a super comfortable helmet for the street, and I think that's something that really sets it apart from something like the AGV Pista, which I know a lot of people complain about because yeah, it looks cool and it works really well at high speeds and, you know, doing what you need to do on, let's say, a track. But as soon as you try to tour around with it or just commute with it, it gets to be a bit of a pain. Whereas I feel this helmet, really great, really well rounded, but still performs really well under those more performance oriented scenarios. So that's probably one of the best use cases for this, is having a helmet that can do both. So if you didn't want to, let's say, invest in 2 separate helmets, one for the street, one for the track, and you just wanted to get one really nice helmet for both, I'd recommend this helmet 100%. It's something that is priced very competitively, especially with all of the other sort of high-end helmets, especially given what you get in the box. It's going to be something that you can really justify, and you have that Alpinestars name with it. Alpinestars is really reputable when it comes to basically any kind of gear. They've covered everything except helmets is the last thing that they've really touched on, which they did start with dirt helmets and they moved to road helmets, and the quality is still there. You're not losing anything by getting the Alpinestars. And quite honestly, especially compared to other helmet brands, I don't think you're really paying that Alpinestars premium either. Like the gloves, the boots, the suits, you can get other brands that do just as well, and you are paying a bit of a premium there. But with the helmet, I really don't feel like you're paying a premium. You're getting what you're paying for, especially compared to like a Shoei X15, the Arai Corsair, the HJC Arfa. They're all around the same price point as this, but they really don't come with the same level of accessories out of the box. And some of them do excel better than the Alpinestars in different areas, but overall, I would say the Alpinestars is actually, in this case, a really great value for what you're getting. Is it the cheapest helmet? No, but I don't think you're paying that premium. I think you're getting a pretty fair price for what you're getting, and it's something that I definitely would recommend. On the very last note here, I know price is very important. I've mentioned before, it's very similar in pricing to the Shoei X15, to the HJC Arfa. I think the only real helmet that is significantly more expensive than this, and you know, a standard out-of-the-box street-only helmet, or street-focused helmet rather, is going to be the AGV Pista. You know, of course, there's going to be those race team-specific helmets. I know you can get the Arai Corsair in an all-carbon shell, and the thing costs like $4,000. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about what a consumer would get. And so the AGV Pista I've seen range in price up to $1,400, $1,500, $2,000, depending on which exact colorway you get. But with the Alpinestars, the base colors, which you get, I believe, black and sort of a black and, or I'm sorry, you get white and sort of a black and white. That one is $999 from what I can see online. And the colorways, which there's different ones, but they all seem to be priced the same at $1,199, so just shy of $1,200. So you're looking at a top-end helmet that is either $1,000 or $1,200, depending on what you get. But of course, there's sales, and what I actually recommend, especially for gear, is to make friends with your local dealer. I got this helmet from Ducati of Tampa Bay. I'm pretty good friends with the parts guys there. Make friends with your local dealers. Yeah, you can get just about anything you need to from a place like Revzilla, and it is great for certain things. But when it comes to gear, having a dealer who's willing to work with you, who can, you know, give you advice on what to get based on what you need, and especially one that is not trying to just sell you as much as possible to meet a quota. You know, making really good friends with one who actually cares about your needs, super important, and probably one of the best things you can do for gear shopping, especially because they'll work with you on things. You know, if something doesn't fit right, so you want to try something else, they'll do that. They'll custom order things. I know some dealers aren't as good as others, but I always recommend at least try. And then if you don't have anything near you that works well, you know, use something like Revzilla. They're also a great resource. But I got this helmet from them. I did not pay full market price. It's still a lot of money that I spent, which again, not sponsored. This was all my money that I ended up spending, which came out to be quite a bit. But I don't have any regrets purchasing this helmet. It's really great. I love the way it looks. I know that one of the big use cases for something like an AGV Pista, more than actually using it for what it's intended for, is as a social media flex helmet. Like, yeah, I know the helmet works well. I know that it's quality, maybe a little overpriced, but you know, it's not just junk. A lot of people do get, you know, not very good helmets that just sort of have an aesthetic look, which I know this helmet fits that look of having a really sharp chin, having a spoiler, you know, something that looks pretty aggressive as compared to like an Arai Corsair, which is a lot more rounded, a lot more sort of like a traditional helmet shape. But as even a social media flex helmet, this is something I do recommend. You know, the price is worth it. You get to rep that Alpinestars name, which I don't think anyone really has a problem with in terms of seeing it as, you know, something quality, a bit of a status symbol. So definitely a recommended helmet. If you all have any questions on anything that I've gone over, by all means, leave a comment, send me a carrier pigeon, smoke signals, you know, whatever. If you want me to answer anything about, just let me know. I will get to that. I might make a separate video just going over that, or I'll just answer individual comments, depends on, you know, what kind of quantity I get. And as always, if you did enjoy the video, feel free to like, subscribe, give me all the internet love that you want. Please, anything to help me make a living off of this so that I don't have to go back to being a corporate slave. I would very much appreciate it. But yeah, this video goes out to Ryan McGee from Super Mega. I want to have your children. And as always, everyone enjoy your day. Have a great day. And this guy almost rear-ended someone. I will catch you on the next one.